Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about a very interesting literary device. Let's define that literary device first and then we'll explain it, and I'll give you some very interesting examples. Paradox. A paradox is a statement that appears at first to be contradictory, but after careful investigation then makes sense. It is used to engage a reader to discover an unreal but obvious logic in a seemingly self-contradictory statement or phrase. As a result, paradox allows readers to understand concepts in a different and non-traditional way. Now look at this example. It's from Hamlet by Shakespeare. I must be cruel only to be kind. Thus bad begins and words remains behind. If you look at the statement, I must be cruel only to be kind. How can someone be kind by being cruel? In this passage, Shakespeare's title character reveals the reasoning behind his plan to kill his stepfather or uncle Claudius. Hamlet states he must be cruel to be kind, which is paradoxical on the surface. However, his apparent cruel act of killing Claudius could be seen as a kindness to Hamlet's mother, who has unknowingly become the wife and lover of her first husband's murderer. In addition, though Hamlet also believes that killing Claudius is bad, he feels the words will remain behind because his father's death will be avenged. Therefore, though it appears contradictory that Hamlet's murder of a murderer requires cruelty for kindness, there is a level of logic to his reasoning. Now, As I Lay Dying by William Faulkner, I could just remember how my father used to say that the reason for living was to get ready to stay dead a long time. This quote is said by Eddie Bundren in Faulkner's novel. She speaks directly to the reader. Due to the fact that her voice appears in a chapter subsequent to her death, Eddie reveals her own paradoxical nature through this paradoxical theory of her father's. If the reason for living is to get ready to stay dead for a long time, then there must be no reason for living since the outcome is death. However, there is an inherent truth in this paradox, particularly in terms of religion. Eddie recognizes the futility in the idea that in order to achieve a good life after death, one must live in preparation for death rather than living for life. This adds to the realism and complexity of Eddie's character in the novel as she questions the purpose and validity of faith. Now this example is taken from Macbeth by William Shakespeare. Fair is foul, foul is fair. The meaning of the motif is quite obvious in the very first act. Simply, it means that appearances are often deceptive and that things are different from what they appear to be. This line also points towards the play's concern with the inconsistency between appearances and reality. Now look at this example, ignorance is strength. Look at this statement rather. The novel name is 1984, written by George Orwell. It simply means that if people remain ignorant of the facts, they would not be able to raise question against government. Therefore, it would help the concerned government in making a country stronger. The main agenda of the party was to promote double thinking, which describes an act of accepting two equally contradictory ideas simultaneously as correct in a distinct social context. In other words, it says that the ignorance of the masses is translated into a government strength. Look at this example, War is Peace. It's taken from 1984, a novel written by George Orwell, and it is a perfect example of paradox. If you look at the statement, war is peace, how can peace be possible if there is war? The phrase has been used by George Orwell in the first chapter of the novel 1984. In the novel, this phrase is one of the slogans of the party. This slogan simply means that though Oceania is perpetually going through a war situation and people are behaving like peace is everywhere, they could easily change from one state of emotion to another state according to the demands of the party. Simply, it implies that the party created these slogans to ensure continuation of control and power over people, because during wars, nations unite and people focus on their common enemy and less on how unhappy they are with their own lives. Hence, this makes less trouble for the ruling party or the government.